That's right, the Biker Gripper, still the #1 cell phone motorcycle mount in the world. That's right, the strongest, sleekest, I might add, sexiest cell phone motorcycle mount in the world. Those of you that have been following us here at Law Abiding Biker Media for some time realize that this was the very first product that we carried in our online store. Of course, we carry a whole bunch of other stuff. This is still one of our top sellers. There's many reasons for that. You may have noticed we made just a few changes over time with the manufacturing process, and that they're still very, very good, still the best in the world. By doing so, we're able to bring the cost down just a little bit for you guys. So on the table in front of me, I have 4 different variations that we're carrying. I'm going to dive into that for you and let you know what you need to know for your specific application and what will work best for you. Welcome back, Bikeaholics. Ryan Erlacher here at LawAbidingBiker.com. I thank you for checking back in. Real quick before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and bell icon before you leave the channel. Every time those are hit, another biker joins the revolution. We'd love to have you be part of it. So let's dive right in. This, of course, is the Biker Gripper head. I want to tell you what this is made out of. It's complicated. I made some notes. This is made out of DuPont Delrin acetal resin thermoplastic. Means it's badass and it's strong. Enough of that. So this head does come with all the different kits, the variations we have, which we're going to get into. And of course, this head unit comes in all the different kits and all the different variations I'm about to talk about. And just know that the links to every product I'm going to discuss are in the description below, directly to our store, and we appreciate your support and purchasing directly from us. So one of the main questions we get is, how big a phone will this fit? Well, this is an iPhone 10. No, that is not my pink iPhone case. My daughter let me borrow this for the video. Seriously. iPhone 10 fits in there just fine, of course. All your iPhone models, including your Plus models, will fit in here. Even your biggest Android phones, your Galaxy Notes and all that kind of stuff. You can see iPhone 10 here. It goes out even wider. 1.9 inches to 4.2 is the spread on this thing. And of course, your phone comes in and out very easy by just pushing one side when it's on your motorcycle and letting it out that way. We flip it around. This thing has stainless steel springs in the back that produce 18 pounds grip strength. I will tell you that this thing is a machine. We've been running it for many years. My full-time job is a police motorcycle officer. We run this on our entire fleet, and because they've seen it on YouTube, a lot of other motorcycle units around the United States and elsewhere are reaching out to us to get these for their unit. We run them on all our personal bikes. We run these on low-speed courses, high-speed courses. I've seen them out on the road. I've seen 2 different high side accidents and the phone did not come out. The thing that makes this different than all the other junk cell phone motorcycle mounts on the market out there, there's really no competition with the Biker Gripper. You find a lot of they have big old clunky, there's one that's an X and it's just really ugly, and then there's ones that are square plastic and they've got bungee straps that you've got to put over your phone every time and all that kind of stuff. Just really, really ugly, clunky stuff out there. This is so small and yet it has all that grip strength. I'm telling you, just head over to the store. We've got 5 years of reviews over there, 5-star reviews on this thing from people that have purchased it. And the best part, of course, our Biker Gripper logo right in the middle. And that's pretty much it for the head unit itself. I just want to let you know at the end of the video, we are going to show you how to install the mounts, and I'll walk you around to some different bikes with the Biker Gripper on them and hopefully give you some ideas on what will work best for your bike. Did I mention, seriously, it is not my phone. It's my daughter's. Can't wait to see the comments on this one. All right, let's start out with our beloved Perch Mount or Control Mount. You can call it either. It's the same thing. It basically goes up on your control clusters. I will mention this is for Harley or metric motorcycles. It will work on both. All right, so it goes up and it doesn't replace your half clamp. You actually remove your half clamp. We've got some spacers, which I'll show you here in a minute, and some bolts, longer bolts, and it goes right up there. That is version 1, which is black, of course. For all you chrome lovers, we have our beloved chrome. All right, now one other thing I want to mention on this, dependent on if you're going to do it on your right control cluster or your left control cluster, you can kind of see how that is up and out to one side. Well, that may not work if you're doing it, on your right side. It may be Your phone may be over your controls a little bit more than you want, but do not worry, because right on the back of this thing, there's a bolt. You can simply take it off. You can pop this ball head right around to the other side, and now this ball head would be going the other way. So a lot of versatility there. And so your kit comes with everything you need, standard and metric bolts. It comes with a bag of spacers. And these are just little spacers there, dependent on your specific application, which again, at the end of the video, we'll do an install. And it comes with the necessary hex wrenches for the install. And one of the greatest part about the biker gripper is they're made right here in the USA through a patented CNC machine process. They're made of aircraft grade aluminum. It keeps them super durable, strong, yet lightweight. And I just want to mention real quick that on the head itself, on both sides, I don't know how well you can see it, but there's a polyurethane fabric, and that helps keep your phone from scratching, and it helps grip it and keep it in the gripper. And so, of course, very simple. The head is for all the kits. It's the same head, and it simply goes on the ball mount itself. On the back here, there's just simply a plastic nut. You take that plastic nut off, it goes over like so, and then you can just pop your gripper right onto it like that. I do want to mention, please, and maybe we weren't specific enough in the past, but you do not need to use pliers or any tools to tighten this down, please. You simply tighten it snug, good enough, and this thing is plenty tight. If you crank this down to where you can't crank it anymore, yes, it is plastic. At some point it will give and break. So just barely snug, stop there, and your phone is going to sit just fine. You actually want it to move just a little bit. It won't move while you're riding, but if you do while you're mounting or dismounting your motorcycle or your elbow or something like that, and you hit this thing, you want it to be able to give a little bit. You can simply pull it back, put your phone in place, or on the fly if you need to move your phone around just a little bit while you're riding. That allows you to do that. So do not over tighten this, and no tools. So the next model I want to talk about is what we call our universal handlebar or bar mount option. This fits bars 7/8 to 1 1/4 inch. It's very, very simple. It comes with an Allen wrench, of course, and it's got 2 Allens right up here front. Half clamp comes off, goes around any bar, those sizes, clamps back on, you're good to go. I will mention that the way we do that is with spacers. So the kit comes with 3 different size spacers, all right? And with those spacers, if you have the smaller size bar, the spacers simply go inside the clamp and fill up that extra area. And have no fear, because yes, we have black and we have your beloved chrome finish. Now, of course, with a mount like this, there's a lot of variations, especially for any bars, as long as you have room to fit this on somewhere. Of course, the horizontal part of your bars, you could put it up, you could put it up, down, whichever way you wanted. You could put it on the down slope of your bars, inside, outside. So a lot of flexibility with these universal mounts. And while we're talking about that, these have a lot of flexibility too, although they go on your left or right perch mount, control mount, whatever you want to call it. You can, a lot of guys, depending on how high your bars are, will actually put it upside down. So you could have your phone below your control clusters, or you could put it right side up and have it sit a little above. So in summary, and then I have just one more thing you might want to think about. We have 2 different models, 2 versions on each, black and chrome. So black and chrome, perch or control mounts. Or you may choose black or chrome universal handlebar mounts. And I also want to mention, not only is the biker gripper good for cell phones, of course, it can hold a lot of other things like GPS units, toll transponders, and EFI tuners. So the other thing you may want to think about is GoPros and action cameras when you're riding. So we have a kit that uses the same universal handlebar mounts. It's the same as the biker gripper head. You just can replace the biker gripper head, of course, with this, which is our very sturdy GoPro head. So that just goes on just like so. Again, no need to over tighten it, just hand tight, about like that is good. And then you can see it's got your standard action cam or GoPro cam. And think about this, also again available in our store, but I put this on the crash bars with the different size spacers. You can also put it on your saddlebag protector bars or your luggage racks, but a lot of flexibility, if you're interested in getting some cool GoPro shots. And again, links to everything I just talked about in the description below. We really appreciate your support and purchasing directly through our store. What are you waiting for? Get hooked up already. Okay, and with that said, now I'm gonna go ahead and take you, we have a bunch of different bikes. I'm gonna show you some of the different mounting locations to give you some good ideas on what might work for you, and we're gonna show you how to install them. All right, the first thing I'm gonna show you is how to mount a Biker Gripper perch mount or control mount, whatever you wanna call it, goes right on your control. We're gonna use the right side. Additionally, everything you need for mounting the Biker Grippers come in the kit. In this install, I'm gonna go ahead and use a chrome version. Don't forget we do have black. And again, we'll be going over here to the right side. Doesn't matter if it's Harley, it doesn't matter if it's metric. If you have this type of control cluster setup, very similar on a lot of different motorcycles. We have standard bolts and we have metric. So, all right, if you wanna come in a little closer, we'll get this installed. So these are very adjustable. This one, to me, is really set up for the left perch mount. The reason I say that is when I put it on here, you can see how it's up and kind of angled to the right. Well, when I put my head on there, my phone's kind of going to be over my controls. So that would work perfect on the left side. Not a big deal. We're going to flip it over. And very simple on the back side. I'm going to take my 1/8 inch hex head wrench and back this out. And just be careful because there is a little lock washer on the back side of that. I'll take my head, switch this, and back in with my bolt here, and we'll snug it down with my wrench. And you can see now that I've switched it. We can put this perch mount up here, and it's up an angle to the right, which means the head's gonna be over here and my phone isn't gonna be necessarily blocking these as much. So we're on the right side of my bike here. This is very standard for Harley or metric, this type of perch mount setup. I've got my stock T27 bolts in here that I'm gonna go ahead and back out and move around to the bottom one here. All right, and I've got both those backed out. And of course, your clamp comes off like that. We'll save these bolts. We won't need them, but if we ever take it off, and we just need to reuse this. Two things we're gonna need out of the kit, the standard bolts and their spacers, 4 of them, 2 different sizes. We're gonna use the longer the spacers for this install. If you have a metric or a different bike, you may use the shorter ones. You'll just have to test and see. And one other thing I wanna mention is you could also, especially if you have taller bars or something, you can always flip this up. And you could mount it, we'll call it upside down basically. A lot of guys choose to do that. I am gonna mount it this way. So I've got the bolts that came in the kit. One goes in the bottom there, one goes in the top, kind of a horseshoe for adjustability. And then on both of those, I'm gonna go on with a long spacer, and I'll go on the top with a long spacer. And so that's kind of what you're left with. And from there, I'm gonna go ahead and go through with my stock clamp. And so that's what the setup should look like. All right, before we go back on, I'm just gonna turn it. And I'm gonna finger start these new bolts. All right, and I've got these tightened down as much as I can with my fingers. I'm gonna come in with my 3/16 inch hex head wrench. Your kit does come with hex head wrenches, but I'm gonna use a socket. Makes it a little bit quicker and easier. And kind of do some even tightening down here. And don't over tighten these guys. You can strip it, it will hold just fine. I'm just tight, you'll see. And about another 1/4 turn. And that's about as much as I snug those down, good and solid. And of course we've got our awesome Biker Gripper head, 18 pounds grip strength. Flip it over, we've got a plastic nut on the back. We're gonna take that plastic nut off. It's gonna go right over like so, and then this goes right on the ball head. All right, and so as we get this plastic nut, yes, did you hear what I said? It's a plastic nut, although it's very sturdy in quality. If you over tighten it, yes, you can crack it. Please do not put tools to tighten this down. It doesn't even need to be tightened that much. You'll see about how much I'm giving it here. It's still threading in real easy. As soon as it starts getting some resistance, maybe 1/8 of a turn, that is all that needs. This is super, super solid, okay? And in the event my phone is in it, I want it to be able, if I get on my bike and I bump it, or I bump it this way or up, it should have some give. You should be able to adjust this around a little bit. Trust me, when you're riding, it will hold solid. But again, if you crank this down, yes, at some point plastic will give. So it's not necessary. Please don't do that. All right, and so I'm sitting on this night train, and I've elected to do something a little bit different, and I just wanted to show you. This has got ape hanger, so I've went ahead and elected, it's also got black, so I elected to use the black biker gripper perch mount, and you can see I've placed it upside down so that because it is upside down, it holds my phone in a much better position than if it was way up here. So a lot of options, and I could also switch the head if I wanted to come and angle down this way and have the phone more over there. So, all right, another great option for a bike like this is our universal bar mount, 7/8 to 1 1/4 inch black or chrome models, because we could simply go up there with it, you know, around the upper here, there, and all the way down. We could mount it kind of in any position we want. So a lot of flexibility with this mount. All right, and very simple on these universals. Comes with Allen wrenches in the kit, 3/32. There's one on this side, and we'll flip it around, and of course, one on this side, and that takes the half clamp off. All right, and then in your kit comes 3 spacers. Like I said, this is good for 7/8 to 1 1/4 inch bars. There's your 3 different spacers, and you basically choose, depending on what size bars, which spacer you're going to use. That narrows the inner part there, of course, and you've got different sizes. All right, and of course, very simple. I'm not going to use any spacers for this particular application due to the size of the bars. Simply goes around, your half clamp goes around the back side, like so. Then, of course, you've got your bolts, one in there and one in that side, and you tighten them down. Now, I will say make sure that this is kind of a permanent solution where you want it, because yes, things like black bars, it is metal to metal, and it's probably going to make over time some sort of permanent mark. So just be aware of that. You could also put just some rubber inner tube or some kind of protective rubber in the middle of there if you're not using one of the spacers, if you're worried about some sort of possible permanent mark on your bars. All right, so I just wanted to show you full touring and some things you need to think about before you purchase your biker gripper and what you want to do. Of course, on most of the touring bikes nowadays, we use the perch mounts or the control mounts like the one I've showed you how to install. The reason is there's a lot of stuff going on these new bikes, and these are the stock bars. You've got a clutch reservoir over here, you've got a brake reservoir on the other side. As you can see, you know, you got wires running down. There's only a little bit of the bar exposed down in here. So when you're trying to put one of these universal styles, if that's what you were going for, it is actually quite difficult to find enough space. You may find space, but then you may not be able to get the head in the angle so it faces the rider and stuff. So that's why we kind of go with the perch mounts on these stock touring models. But these are awesome for if you don't have a touring model, or like we showed you, if you've got taller bars or ape hangers, or maybe an older model without a hydraulic clutch and you don't have the clutch reservoir on the left side. So just things to think about when you're purchasing. Also, if you're wondering what this is an awesome Perch Mount CIRO 3D cup holder. Absolutely love these. Sell them in our store. Links will be in the description below. We also obviously can go on either side, right or left. Additionally, we have a model for your full touring for the passenger. Really awesome setup. So again, link description below. So what are you waiting for? Get a biker gripper already. Links in the description below. Get out there and ride.